Man cannot possess anything as long as he fears death. But to him who does not fear it, everything belongs. If there was no suffering, man would not know his limits, would not know himself. You can love a person dear to you with a human love, but an enemy can only be loved with divine love. It's not given to people to judge what's right or wrong. People have eternally been mistaken and will be mistaken, and in nothing more than in what they consider right and wrong. Because of the self-confidence with which he had spoken, no one could tell whether what he said was very clever or very stupid. The whole world is divided for me into two parts. One is she, and there is all happiness, hope, light. The other is where she is not, and there is dejection and darkness. If we admit that human life can be ruled by reason, then all possibility of life is destroyed. It is as if I had been going downhill while I imagined I was going up. And that is really what it was. I was going up in public opinion, but to the same extent life was ebbing away from me. And now it is all done, and there is only death. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. If you're not enjoying your work, you should either change your attitude or change your job. The only thing that we know is that we know nothing, and that is the highest flight of human wisdom. It's much better to do good in a way that no one knows anything about it. Rummaging in our souls, we often dig up something that ought to have lain there unnoticed. We lost because we told ourselves we lost. There are no conditions to which a person cannot grow accustomed, especially if he sees that everyone around him lives in the same way. If we admit that human life can be ruled by reason, then all possibility of life is destroyed. If there was no suffering, man would not know his limits, would not know himself. Because of the self-confidence with which he had spoken, no one could tell whether what he said was very clever or very stupid. When you love someone, you love the person as they are, and not as you'd like them to be. Happiness does not depend on outward things, but on the way we see them. True life is lived when tiny changes occur. Freethinkers are those who are willing to use their minds without prejudice and without fearing to understand things that clash with their own customs, privileges, or beliefs. This state of mind is not common, but it is essential for right thinking. Our body is a machine for living. It is organized for that. It is its nature. Let life go on in it unhindered, and let it defend itself. Have a goal in life, a goal for a certain time, for a year, for a month, for a week, for a day or for an hour, and for a minute, sacrificing lower goals to highest. The changes in our life must come from the impossibility to live otherwise than according to the demands of our conscience, not from our mental resolution to try a new form of life. If you make it a habit not to blame others, you will feel the growth of the ability to love in your soul, and you will see the growth of goodness in your life. People try to do all sorts of clever and difficult things to improve life instead of doing the simplest, easiest thing, refusing to participate in activities that make life bad. Joy can only be real if people look upon their life as a service and have a definite object in life outside themselves and their personal happiness. An arrogant person considers himself perfect. This is the chief harm of arrogance. It interferes with a person's main task in life, becoming a better person. Faith is the sense of life, that sense by virtue of which man does not destroy himself, but continues to live on. It is the force whereby we live. Only people who are capable of loving strongly can also suffer great sorrow, but the same necessity of loving serves to counteract their grief and heals them.